It's Liverpool that leads the charge over in the Premier League, but they're joined in the top four by Man City, Arsenal and Chelsea, that's right, as the blue side of London makes its first appearance in the top bloody four. Will they still be there, though, after this weekend's games? We're going to take a little look next. That's right, folks, back once again with another prediction video. Today is all about match day number 8. That's right, in the Premier League, and we'll get to it in a second. If you're new, where you been? Smash your subscribe button, your one-stop shop for Premier League, Blackburn Rovers, world football. We're going to all here under one rooski. It is tight, airtight at the top of the table, with Chelsea squeaking in the top 4 at the expense of Aston Villa. But the likes of, what we're looking at, all the way down to 8th place, Fulham could be in the top 4 if everything goes their way this weekend. We'll get to that in a second. Of course, if you're new, subscribe, check out the links down below. Big shout out, though, to the Patreons and, of course, the members supporting the channel behind the scenes. Really do appreciate that. But let's get cracking and recap the results that did take place before the international break, and then bring you back up to date with what's going on this weekend. So here we go, folks. Here we go. These were the games that we, of course, last saw in the Premier League, including a 1-0 win for Liverpool in the game against Crystal Palace. Meanwhile, Arsenal did tonk Southampton 3-1 in the end. Brentford put 5 past Wolves, with Leicester getting an all-important win against Bournemouth. Man City were close to a bit of a shock against Fulham, 3-2 though in the end. West Ham put 4 past Ipswich to get moving in the right direction at long last. Everton and Newcastle 0-0 in the end. Villa the same against Manchester United. Chelsea and Forest could only draw 1-1. With Brighton putting up a big victory against Spurs, who dropped all the way down to 9th. That's right, and I can show you that here by looking at the table, of course. This is the current state of play after 7 games. That's right, Liverpool lead the charge with just 1 defeat. City and Arsenal yet to taste defeat, but of course just 1 point adrift at the moment. Chelsea could challenge for the top 2 right now with a win and everything else going their way. Villa the same, but going down we have Wolves, we have Southampton, and we have Crystal Palace, who of course not getting much joy at the moment. Yet to taste success thus far. Ipswich, of course, draw specialists with the most draws in the league, alongside Nottingham Forest. So those were, of course, the situation in the league. This is the situation over in the Super Brew. That's right, KP21 with 13 points this past week in action. Ultra Omar Mira also with 12, and Liam VK in the top 3 with 10.5. Don't know where I am. There I am. I've got 8.5 mid-table, mid towards the top end, I would say. So a good move, good chunk for me. Of course, Raymond's in the house there. Jimmy Reddington, Preston Hinterland, of course. Monkey Chops, the coolest name in town. Yeah, for VMPP, Blast from the Past. Hans Worst also in there. And of course, the rest of you guys as well. I do appreciate the love in the prediction league. Keep it going, keep it moving. And of course, currently the state of play looks like this. Lewis Ard leads the charge, non-mover at number 1. With, of course, Gibbsy up to number 2. Big mover in the charts there. A couple of little jiggery pokeries there. Big mover, though. We have Lewis B up 8 spots to number 10. I'm around about 30th. I'm up 5. That's a big jump for me. Hoping to make a sneaky move into the top 20. Hopefully this weekend. If you want to get involved, here's the link. It's 100% free, and we're going to keep on going to the bitter end. So there's still plenty of time to get involved. You might not think you could challenge for number 1 spot, but I've seen stranger things happen. So please just get involved, get in amongst it, compete, and see if you can out-predict me, the Prediction King. Alrighty then, folks, we do have a whole host of games coming at you this weekend. Actually, a full list of games, and it's going to kick us all off on Saturday, October the 19th. Where are we going? Well, we're going to go to London first. That's right, folks, heading over to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We have an all-London affair, kicking us off on the early match on Saturday the 19th of October. It's Tottenham, it's West Ham, and of course, we will we'll keep an eye on that game, won't we? Spurs, though, on the back of just 1 defeat in the last 6, 83% form for them right now. They sit 9th with 10 points to their name, up against the Hammers, who come into this on the back of just 1 win in the last 6. They are 12th with 8 points, so just 2 points separate these two sides with contrasting forms, of course. Spurs, though, are in Europe. They're getting those victories and the momentum under their wings. West Ham have to watch from the sidelines. Now, they've played 63 times since 1993, 30 wins for the hosts. That is Tottenham, 21 win for the West Ham, that is the visitors, and 12 draws between the two sides, with the most recent match being a draw, but that was over at the London Stadium, of course. But last time they played over at Spurs, and Spurs were the hosts. It was a 2-1 win for West Ham. That's back in December 2023. Spurs, of course, losing to Brighton most recently before the international break. West Ham putting up 4 past Ipswich on the previous match. Bookies on this one got basic odds on this one, so the basic odds lean in favour of Spurs. They are favoured. West Ham, they're overwhelming underdogs. And I think I'm going to go with that as well. I'm going to go with that logic. I'm going to go with a Spurs victory here. 2-0 win. The game against Brighton was a tricky one. It was always going to be a tricky one on the road because Brighton are awkward. But Spurs at home should win this game. Sticking in London, we're going over to Fulham now as they take on Aston Villa. That's right. Fulham under Marco Silva currently find themselves in 8th. With a good 50% form for them over the last 6. Villa unbeaten in the last 6. They sit 5th with 14 points to them, and they are juggling on multiple fronts. That's right, 40 times they have played since the year 2001. 12 wins for the Cottagers, 17 wins for Villa, and there's been 11 draws between the two sides, with the most recent match being at this very venue back in February 2024. Villa coming out on top with a 2-1 win. In fact, Villa won 4 on the bounce against Fulham with their last victory, that is the Cottagers, back in 2022. 3-0 win it was for Fulham over at this very venue. Fulham, though, narrow loss to Man City last time around. Prior to that, good wins against Newcastle and Forest. Villa, though, on the back of a 0-0 draw against United and a 1-0 win over Bayern. So back-to-back clean sheets for Villa on this one. And, of course, Villa will be actually, they are the underdogs here, slight underdogs, with a busy week up ahead for Villa. They're going to be taking on Bologna as well. And of course, Bournemouth waiting in the wings in what's going to be 3 monumental games over the course of like 7 or 8 days. But Fulham are favoured to win this game. I think it's going to be tight. I'm going to give Villa the benefit of the doubt with a 1-0 win. Of course, they've ground out some results and they've been very airtight at the back, and I think that'll continue in this one. 1-0 win, Villa taking all 3 points. Let's go over to Portman Road now as Ipswich, who are still on the lookout for their first victory, taking on an Everton side, also trying to get some results moving in the right direction. Ipswich under Kieran McKenna, draw kings right now, picking up 4 draws out of the last 5. They're on 33% form for them right now. 17th in the table with 4 points for the season. Up against Everton, who are unbeaten in the last 3. They've picked up 5 points this season. They sit 16th right now, of course. But these two clubs have played 8 times since 1993. 3 wins for Ipswich, 3 for Everton, and there's been 2 draws between the two sides. The last time that these two sides played, it was a 2-1 win for Ipswich. That was at Goodison Park on the 2nd of the 2nd, 2002. Meanwhile, the last time they played over at Portman Road, it was a 0-0 draw. In fact, Ipswich have got a nice record against Everton. They're unbeaten against them over the last 4. They've only conceded 1 goal in those last 4 matches. Everton, though, on the back of a 0-0 draw against Newcastle. Last time they were on the road, they did pick up a point against Leicester. Ipswich, on the back of that 4-1 loss to West Ham. Last time they were at home, they picked up an impressive 2-2 draw against Villa. The bookies on this one, they go slightly in favour of Ipswich, but I think I'm leaning towards yet another draw on this one. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. Again, Everton will be happy. Point on the road. Ipswich, not so much. They need that victory to start getting them believing in themselves that they belong in this division. Manchester United next, they're going to be taking on Brentford, that's right, over at Old Trafford. And as of recording, Ten Hag is the manager, that's right. Man United coming at you. Just 1 defeat, though, in the last 6 for Ten Hag's boys. But they are the draw kings, picking up 4 draws out of the last 5. They sit 14th right now with 8 points to the name. Brentford under Thomas Frank doing an okay job for Brentford. They sit 11th with 10 points to the name. Of course, coming into this on the back of just 1 defeat in the last 4. They have played 7 times since 2021. 4 wins for Man United, 1 win for Brentford. It's been 2 draws, of course, in what has been dubbed the Christian Eriksen derby. That's right. Last time they played, though, over at Old Trafford, it was a 2-1 win for Manchester United back in October 2023. This match has preferred the hosts. That's right. Out of the last 5, the hosts have got something out of this game. In fact, the majority is a win, with the hosts winning 4 out of the last 5. So it does lean in favour of Manchester United from the traditional result. Coming into this, though, Brentford on the back of that 5-3 demolition job of Wolves, but that was over in London. The last time they were on the road, they did get turned over by Spurs. In fact, it's been back-to-back away defeats for Brentford. Meanwhile, United at home, last time around, they did lose to Tottenham, and again, a result that goes against them could be very, very awkward for Manchester United this week. And it's going to be a busy old week as well, with Jose Mourinho waiting in the wings, of course, for Fenerbahce around the corner, and then a trip down to West Ham as well. So a busy old few days for Manchester United. The bookies, though, they do go with Man United. They are favoured on this one. And I, too, am going to go with the win for Manchester United. They'll relieve a bit of pressure on Ten Hag, and that win could actually see them move into the top end of the table and challenge once again for Europa League spots. Go to the northeast, and it's Newcastle United up against Brighton. A long away days for Brighton. 3 o'clock kickoff coming at you on the 19th of October. That's right. Newcastle under Andy Howe, just one defeat in the last 6. They sit 7th for 12 points to the name. Up against Brighton under Fabian Husler, just one defeat in the last 6 for them, who they sit 6th with 12 points to the name. Now, these two clubs have played 19 times since 2012. 5 wins for the Geordies, 7 wins for the Seagulls, and 7 draws as well. Last time around, over at the St. James's Park, it was a 1-1 draw. That was back in May 2024. Brighton unbeaten against them over the last couple. Meanwhile, Brighton on the back of that 3-2 win over Spurs. Newcastle with that 0-0 draw against Everton, but they make it back-to-back clean sheets by beating Wimbledon in the Cup not too long ago. It's actually been a kind of up and down kind of stretch here for Newcastle. They drew with City, but they drew with Everton. And of course, they lost to Fulham in the last 3. So the last 3 Premier League games hasn't been that great. The bookies, though, for this one, they do go with Newcastle. They are favoured. Brighton are, of course, massively underdog for this one. And again, I am leaning towards Newcastle getting the victory here. 2-0 win on their own turf. Like I said, a long way for Brighton fans to go. And it's going to be a difficult place to play with a rapturous 50-odd thousand. Is that what I'm talking about? 50-odd thousand for Newcastle, screaming their heads off. So, yeah, going to go with the Geordies here. 2-0 win to take all 3 points. Meanwhile, we go down to St. Mary's. That's right. It's Southampton taking on Leicester City. A spicy little game here. Both sides needing results. I think Southampton more so than Leicester. Of course, Russell Martin has remained at the helm through this international break. Coming into this with just 1 win in the last 6, 19th for the table, just 1 point all season. That 1 win was probably in the Cup. We'll explore that in a minute. Leicester, though, under Stevie Cooper, just 1 defeat in the last 5. They're grinding out results under Stevie Cooper, despite maybe some fans' reservations for Cooper, but I think he's a fantastic man and a fantastic coach. That's right, 15th for the table, 6 points to the name. Now, these two clubs have played 48 times since 1994. 16 wins for Southampton, 20 wins for Leicester, and there's been 12 draws between the two sides. With the most recent match at this very venue, it was back in September 2023 in the Championship. Leicester coming out on top, 4-1 win. In fact, Leicester put 9 goals past Southampton last season in the Championship. Goodness gracious me. Meanwhile, the Saints are on the back of that 3-1 loss to Arsenal. Leicester with that important win over Bournemouth. And of course, this could be a good stretch of games for Leicester, with the likes of Forest waiting in the wings as well, and Ipswich not around the corner as well. So good couple of games for them. Southampton on the other side, not necessarily the best game, with Man City waiting in the wings. The bookies, though, on this one find it difficult, but they do go in favour of Southampton. They are favoured, and they should be winning this game. They're going to get anything, and they're going to save their season. They need to be winning this, and I'm going to give it to them. I'm going to give it a 2-1 win for Southampton, give themselves something to get excited about in what has been a pretty shitty start to their Premier League return. Sticking in the coast, we go to Bournemouth now as they take on Arsenal in the later kickoff on Saturday, 19th of October at Dean Court, a.k.a. the Vitality, as Bournemouth and Areola currently find themselves 13th with 8 points to the name. 2 wins, though, are the last 6 games for Bournemouth against Arsenal, who've won 4 on their bounce. Now, these two clubs have played 16 times since 2015. We got 1 win for Bournemouth, 13 wins for Arsenal. There's been 2 draws. The last time they played, though, over at this very venue was a 4-0 win for Arsenal. That was back in September 2023. In fact, Arsenal did the double over Bournemouth, conceding 0 goals against them. In fact, scoring 7 goals without return. Arsenal on the back of that 3-1 win over Southampton, but this is their first away match since the 22nd of September when they did draw with Man City. In fact, it's been back-to-back draws for Arsenal on the road. Bournemouth, though, make home a good place to be with a 3-1 win last time around against the Saints. The bookies, though, on this one will go with Arsenal overwhelmingly so. Massive favourites, and they should win this game. Going with a 2-0 win. Not as impressive as recent games, but enough to remain top of the pops ahead of... actually, not top of the pops, but at least competing for top of the pops. Or remaining in the mixer right there. Let's go over to Molineux now as Wolves take on Man City. That's right, coming at you Sunday. That's 20th of October as Wolves under Gary O'Neill are hitting the skids right now. Bottom of the pile, 20th of the table with just 1 point all season. 5 defeats on the spin, 8% form for them right now as Gary O'Neill is in a bit of trouble. Up against Man City, who of course 75% form for them right now, unbeaten in at least the last 6 games. They sit second with 17 points to their name. Now these two clubs have played 32 times since 1996. 6, 11 wins for Wolves, 18 wins for City. There's been 3 draws between the two sides. With the most recent match, though, being at this very venue, 2-1 win, September 2023. It was a 2-1 win for Wolves. That's right. There was a period, I think, not too long ago, that Wolves were a bit of a bogey side for Man City. It hasn't been like that of late. Besides that one loss by City, they have won 5 out of the last 6. City, though, coming into it on the back of that 3-2 win over Fulham. Wolves on the back of that 5-3 smashing by Brentford. Busy week ahead as well for City, with Sparta Prague waiting in the wings as well. Bookies go overwhelmingly so for City. Despite no Rodri, they should win this game. And I am also leaning towards a victory despite them being on the road. 2-1 win, narrow one, of course, which gives Wolves a bit of hope. But realistically, when are they going to make the change in the dugout? Because currently they look very much a lost side right now, of course, who need a result and need to get themselves moving or something positive to keep them in the division. Up to Anfield we go, in one of the highlights of the weekend, if not the season. It's Liverpool up against Chelsea, coming at you on Sunday the 20th of October. Liverpool under Arne Slot, 6 wins on the bounce, 100% form. They sit top, 18 points on up against Chelsea under Enzo Maresca, who sit 4th, 14 points on the board, and they're here with 92% form as well. So Chelsea, despite all everyone's reservations at the start of the season, they're proving to be a pretty formidable side this time. 87 times these two clubs have played since 1993. It's quite tight. 32 wins for Liverpool, 31 wins for Chelsea. There's been 24 draws between the two sides, with the most recent match being the EFL Cup final back in February 2024. Liverpool coming out on top with a 1-0 win. Last time they played over at this venue was a 4-1 win for Liverpool. That's back in January 2024. Liverpool are unbeaten against Chelsea, but there has been 3 draws over the last 5 matches. Liverpool, though, back-to-back clean sheets, beating Bologna and then Crystal Palace. Chelsea on the back of that 1-1 draw against Nottingham Forest. But they have conceded a whole load of games, conceded goals in the last 3. 5 goals conceded by Chelsea. So that could be something Liverpool could exploit, especially on their own turf. Liverpool are overwhelming favoured, Chelsea the underdogs. But again, this, could be a bit of a banana skin, that's right, for Liverpool. They need to navigate it. They are top of the pile right now. And of course, a win will keep them there. And I think I'm going to go with it. Might be a little bit, it might be overkill here. 3-0 win. Liverpool will do it. And of course, Chelsea will come back down to earth somewhat. But hey, this defeat by Chelsea will not put an end to the top 4 ambitions. I think they've got the quality. They've definitely got the squad depth to at least go very far in the Premier League and challenge again for the top 4 spots. And then finally, on Monday night, we have, of course, Forest against Crystal Palace on the 21st of October. Forest under Nuno Espirito Santo sit 10th with 10 points to the name. Oli Glasner. Crystal Palace all the way down to 18th right now, just 3 points for the season. That's right. 29 times they have played since 1993. 14 wins for Forest. We have 6 wins for Palace. We have 9 draws between the two sides. Forest just 1 win, though, in the last 6, despite their good bit of form. Up against Crystal Palace, also 1 win in the last 6 between the two sides. So the last time that these two sides played, in fact, the last 3 that these two sides have played, whether it is at City Ground or at Selhurst Park, have ended up all square. However, if you want to look at it a different way, if you open it up a little bit more to the last 6, Forest are unbeaten against Crystal Palace over the last 6. In fact, they got a couple of wins to the name. 1 being a friendly, we don't really count that, but 1 being in the Premier League. That's back in November 2022. Forest, though, last victory was that 1-0 win over Liverpool at Anfield. The last time they played at this very venue, they lost to Fulham. Palace, though, on the back of that 1-0 loss to Liverpool, and of course, last time they were on the road, they lost to Everton, of course. So not been a great couple of games for Palace here. The bookies find it difficult, but they are going to go with Forest on this one. I'm not so much, I don't think that much here. I think it could be split here. I'm going to go with a draw. That's right, 0-0. Everyone's going to be watching. Everyone's going to be excited. It's Monday night. It's going to be a bit of anticlimax in my eyes. So 0-0 in my eyes. That's right, which will complete my picks for this coming weekend in the Premier League. Now, mind, don't forget to get yours in as well using the link. It is 100% free. We'll be back for the next round of games very, very soon. But until then, guys, don't forget to subscribe, smash the like, check out the links down below, and of course, get out there and smash the old thumbs up. Till then, dudes, we are done right here.